Excellent. Got it. And now if you let me be the host again, you can change it back to me. I'm going to share my screen with you guys and share a presentation. If you have any questions about anything, if you just put those in the chat, that would be great. And we'll answer them after I get through the presentation. So let's see here. So share my screen. And unlike our meeting we had last week, I did it at central office thinking I would have a great internet connection, and instead I got bounced off. And so now I'm doing this at home. So I apologize if you hear any weird dog sounds. I have a bull mastiff and a boxer who occasionally like to be involved in my meetings. So prepare yourself for that just in case. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. Share, and now go here. All right. Do you see my presentation, Stace? Excellent. All right. So Early College Academy, what we like about this program is that our students get to really think about college and the careers they may be pursuing later on. If you want to have your camera on once we get out of the shared screen situation, that would be great, but don't feel like you need to. And like I said before, we will be using the chat for our questions, and we are recording this session so we can post it on our district website. All right, so to get started with, I always think it's good to hear straight from the students what they think about the program. These are students from this past year.
A lot of people want to go into college with a lot of those general education courses out of the way, and ECA allows you to do that because it pays for your courses for you, permitting you to do well in the course, which is a C or above.
Instead of kids taking lots of AP classes and stuff their juniors and senior years, you know, they could just transition to, you know, college half the day, which I think would be a lot more beneficial than taking AP classes because they get more of the college experience and they're with real college professors. So they learn, you know, what it's actually going to be like whenever they move on to college.
I would say that the biggest lesson that I've taken that I will use going on to my four-year school is to really be passionate about what you're learning and engage in the work so that you're really retaining that information and you're able to use it in your future career.
I would say that the best lessons that I learned from the Early College Academy were definitely just overall the differences between high school and college. And I would say that communicating with professors is a lot different in comparison to communicating with teachers in high school. And the other thing is you have to choose your courses based on how they apply to where you're going after, just looking at the classes and comparing them. And then I was able to knock out about 34 credit hours before I even get to college.
A piece of advice is talk to your professors. Professors in college are definitely, I think, a little bit more lenient if you go and talk to them. If you explain to them why you're struggling, what's happening, most of the time they understand. But also another piece of advice is time management. Figure that out very early.
My advice for the new coming early college students is to not overload your schedule and make sure you have a balanced schedule at both the college and the high school so you don't stress yourself out too much. Also to get into contact with your professors like as soon as you can. Like the first day you get into the class, contact them, let them know your plan for the year, and then it just makes it easier for you to be able to contact them later on if you need help or something. And the last thing is time management. Make sure you manage your time and make sure you have a plan of action for what you're going to do and when you're going to do it.
For me, the best part of this program has been that it hasn't cost me anything, me or my parents, a single thing, and I'm going to be graduating with not just my high school degree, but my college associate's degree in engineering technology, and that is such a great gift.
I'm very glad that I participated in ECA. It allowed me to get ahead very quickly as well as explore different options early on, especially with classes and finding out what I wanted to do.
I am super glad I did the early college program because it was a great opportunity to be able to be in a college environment and to see what college would be like and to kind of get a taste of it. It also saved me a ton of money, and also I think it's going to look super impressive to jobs and other places to tell them that I have my associate's degree at age 18.
If you're considering joining this program, I would definitely take the opportunity. It's a way to have financial support that you're not going to get in other opportunities. And it's a way to get ahead on your college credits and just really end out your high school career the best you can.
So I think hearing it from the students themselves is always a good thing. We had 8, as you saw at the end, there were 8 students who actually graduated with their associate's degree. And 2019 was the first year we allowed juniors to be in this program. It was originally designed just for seniors. And the big reason that we came up with this program, that Dr. Sutton and Dr. Clemens, not good that I couldn't remember the superintendent's name right there, Dr. Clemens came up with this, is because we wanted to give our students more choices. We have so many students that are such high flyers that they want more rigor, they want more opportunity for advanced classes. This program allows that. The other thing that we had found is when kids graduate from high school, they get to their first college that they're going to try. You know, they wind up at Mizzou or Missouri State, K-State, wherever they might wind up at. And it's hard to make that transition. So we thought a program like this, we do more than just put them in college classes. They also are enrolled in a College 100 class with me. And we really focus on things like time management that you heard the kids mention quite often, study strategies, communicating with professors, learning those self-advocacy skills that they're going to need when they are really completely on their own, maybe away from home. And obviously, going to college, if anybody's got a student there now or has gone recently, it costs a lot of money to go to college. And so we want to maybe reduce some of that burden for our families. So our top priority, no matter what, is high school graduation. I actually have a student right now who's very close to having her associate's degree, and we realized, oh my gosh, we need to make sure that we have all of our high school credits taken care of. And so I don't want to get to the end here and, hey, you're going to have your associate's degree, and we forgot to take personal finance. So constantly the students will hear me say, have you checked with your, check PowerSchool and make sure you're meeting all your requirements for high school graduation. The things that's so awesome about this is our classes at Maple Woods count back towards those high school graduation requirements. So we're constantly talking about that, making sure we're, checking all the boxes that we need to. Another outcome that we have for this program, obviously, is students can stay there and finish up their associate's degree, which is a good thing. They can use their A+ money after this to finish this. And then obviously students can choose to transfer to a 4-year college or university to continue their education. So we focus, as we talk about transferring, we focus on those core 42 hours, which are those general education requirements that no matter where you go, you're going to have to take. And so focusing on those gen eds, especially if you come in as a senior, you can focus on getting those big classes out of the way. If you stay in the state of Missouri, it is legislated that they have to take, any public college or university has to take these core 42 classes. What we have found, and what you may have noticed as the students were speaking in the video, Missouri Valley took them, Arizona State took them. You don't know this, Kansas Wesleyan took them. We've had really good luck. Maple Woods Metropolitan Community College is a very well-respected community college. And we've had really great results with working with other schools so that might not be in the state of Missouri that have taken these credits. So that's been a real plus. So what does the schedule look like? So ideally, students are enrolled anywhere. They have, the minimum is 9, but that usually means 10 college hours because they will always have a College 100 or College 101 class with me. And then they'll have 3 other classes on campus. Most students will take 12. So this is what a typical morning schedule would look like for a student. Classes start 8. They run 50 minutes. So if you're in a 3 credit hour class, you're looking at Monday, Wednesday, Friday for the semester, 8 to 8:50 for, COM 100, which is fundamentals of speech. Comp and reading, English 102, that it looks like it's on a Tuesday, Thursday. So it's going to be 9:30 to 10:45. So it's about an hour and 15 minutes twice a week. So I always tell students when we're talking about 3 credit hours or more than that, that's about how long you'll be on campus that week for a class. So this is just a basic morning schedule. Our students do have the opportunity to take afternoon classes as well. We provide transportation for the morning sessions only. So if you get to your home high school, you can jump on the bus, go to Maple Woods. You'll be there for your 8 o'clock class. You'll be back to your home high school by about 11:15, 11:30. If you are a student who would prefer to take afternoon schedule, that's totally fine. You'll leave your high school at about 10:30 in the morning and be back 2:15, 2:30 or whatnot. If you're a driver, you can choose either session. You can kind of see how it lays out there. So what's so awesome about this? Well, obviously, you know, having the experience in the college and earning those college credits is always good, but even better than that, there's no cost to families. As you heard Mason say, as long as you get a C or better. If it's below a C, then we do talk about the student has to pay for the course. But I think you can learn a lot sometimes from paying for a course because all of our students in this program are extremely high flyers. And so many of them, it's a little bit of a, I don't want to say culture shock, but a little bit of a splash of cold water in the face those first couple of weeks when you're like, ooh, I really have to study now. It's not quite as easy as my high school was. I had a student a few years ago that she was in a college algebra class. And math is hard. Mr. Lind will tell you that, especially first semester. We don't really want the students to maybe take a math and a science at the same time because they're pretty rigorous. And this young lady, she was like, no, Ms. Gillen, I can do it. I was like, fantastic. So we do constant check-ins through the semester. And I was like, hey, how is your math class going? She goes, oh, it's going pretty good. I was like, awesome. I said, you're doing the homework, talk to your professor. And she was like, oh, I don't do the homework. I was like, really? I was like, why not? She goes, well, he doesn't grade it. And I go, yeah, but you got to do the homework so you know what's going to be on the test. Oh yeah. Don't worry about Ms. Gillen. I was like, okay. So a few weeks later, we check in. I'm like, how's it going? She was like, yeah, it's getting a little tougher. I was like, oh, are you going to the math lab? Have you gone to office hours? No, I got this. Well, Christmas rolls around right before break, and she brings me a check, and I was like, what happened? She was like, yeah, I just didn't do anything that you suggested. I was like, okay. And she goes, but can I take it again? And I go, yeah, but I don't want you to have to pay $174 again. She was like, no. She goes, I figured out what I need to do and what not to do. She wound up taking it next semester, got an A. She's at Mizzou now. She said failing that class was probably one of the best things that could have happened because she figured it out at $174 as opposed to $1,200 or $1,300 at a bigger school, because that's what 3-hour credit classes are going for at Missouri State, Northwest, wherever else. It was a good experience. So even if you would have to pay for a class, we try to find something out of it to make you more successful later on. In addition to paying the tuition, we do pay for books. And if there are any supplies or anything that students need, like I have some students in art classes right now, we even take care of that. So these are all awesome things provided by the district. And like I said before, we do have morning transportation. All right, so how do you get in this program? So GPA, it's not super high, 2.75 or higher. No discipline issues, recommendations from 2 teachers, 90% attendance. Attendance is huge because in college, as many of you will probably remember, there are no excused and unexcused absences. Either you're there or you're not. And so I really focus on attendance with the students. College readiness is the other big one. I've had students who, they have a 4.0. They've chased A's their entire high school career, which is great, but they didn't actually learn the content. So you do have to place in college level math, English, and reading. And so more details are on that about the placement test or the ACT on our website. But just, overall, it's if you're looking at ACT scores, it's an 18 as a composite or higher, 22 or higher in the math, 18 or higher in the English reading part of the ACT. And a lot of our students, especially if you're a sophomore, thinking about trying to do this as a junior, you probably won't have taken the ACT yet. Or maybe you've taken the ACT, you're a junior, you've taken it and you just don't have the scores that you that they're not quite where we want them to be, take the AccuPlacer, which is a college placement exam. It's like the ACT, but there's no time limit on it. And so it kind of takes a little bit of the stress off of it. So you do have to place into college level classes though. Then complete the application. You do have to apply with Metropolitan Community College. It's like a 10-minute online application, and then fill out the application on our website. So just quick facts about it. You're there for half the day. So either morning or afternoon, transportation for morning kids only. You are still eligible for MSHA athletics and activities. 1 to 3 credit hour class at MCC is a half a high school credit. So if you think about our high school classes, a semester long class is a half credit. So the difference is if you were taking like college algebra at your high school, you're in it for the whole year. So this is much more compressed than that. All college classes are a semester in length. A lot of the upper level math and science classes are actually 5 credit hours, which means in a semester, you're going to get a full high school credit. So you're going to probably take anywhere about 12 hours is the average, count towards your high school diploma and your college degree. Again, just kind of recapping that. So what's really awesome about this is these students they can participate in all the activities that go on the Maple Woods campus, which there's lots of fun stuff to do there. There's lots of organizations and clubs, leadership opportunities that students are allowed to participate in. So how do our students perform while they're there? Our students do fantastic. This year we have 82 students in the program, 56 are seniors, 26 are juniors. They earned 933 credit hours this first semester. 43 were named to the Dean's List, meaning they had a 3.5 or higher. Our average GPA is a 3.298, whereas the general population at MCC is a 2.62. So our students are prepared when they go there and they are successful. And so where do our students come from? Taking a quick look at this, this is our breakdown this year. I have seats for 100 students. I really think that if I had more students that were qualified and serious about the program, that if I asked Dr. Sutton or Dr. Clemens for a few extra seats, I think they probably could be persuaded. But I'll also say this, if I only had 50 kids that were going to be successful, we'll only have 50 in it, because we're not trying to meet quotas or anything like that. We're just trying to do the best we can for our students and put kids in positions to be successful. So these were our young people who last May earned their associate's degree. This young man in the upper left is actually at UC Berkeley this year. Students at Central Missouri State, at K-State, at Kirksville, at Northwest. This young lady who I mentioned and who spoke in the video is Abby Walker. She is Mrs. Walker, Stacy's daughter. She actually earned her associates in applied science and engineering technology and is working for an engineering firm right now as an 18-year-old, starting off at $30 an hour, which is pretty awesome with, a degree, and has had like 5 other engineering firms trying to poach her from her current one and offering her more money with the degree she earned through this program. So I'm pretty pumped up about that. I have one short video I want to share with you. This is a student who just graduated. He graduated an entire semester early, and it's kind of a cool thing. And I just want to share this with you guys because this hasn't been out yet.
Jacob has done something that none of our other students have done.
Jacob Ferguson is crucial in his Winnetonka biology class.
I absolutely love learning. Cells, right? Yes.
I can guarantee that this class and the students in this class are learning more because he's in the room.
Uh-oh.
Because he wants to learn it. And having him be that model and that glue for the room has been really helpful.
This senior is graduating early.
I am Private First Class Jacob Ferguson, a 12 Romeo in the Army National Guard, as well as a senior at Winnetonka High School.
And headed to advanced military training this month.
I'd always dreamed about being in the Army as a kid, and I wanted to do that as soon as possible.
In fact, he's following in his uncle's footsteps. He went to boot camp at Fort Sill in Oklahoma, the same base Jacob graduated from last summer.
The most fun I never want to have again.
His dream propelled him to join the Army National Guard. Enter the district's early college academy, earning his associate's degree from Maple Woods Community College, tuition free.
I think it is probably one of the best decisions the district has ever made, because I know there are more students than you'd think that are like myself, that are looking to push themselves and get more from their high school experience. and that gives them the opportunity to do so.
Jacob maintained a 4.0 GPA while taking dual credit classes at Tonka and college level classes at MCC.
Jacob Ferguson is probably one of the most driven, self-motivated, hardworking students I've ever had the pleasure of working with.
It takes most students 5 semesters to obtain an associate's degree, but Jacob isn't like most students.
The fact that Jacob has done it in just 3 semesters, that's pretty inspiring and pretty awesome.
The first student ever to accomplish that. Now he wants to become a cyber officer with the Army. Another goal teachers are confident he will achieve.
To watch him excel in so many different things, I think that that's really inspiring for the other students. It's inspiring for me.
Jacob, oops. So I think it's pretty awesome that Jacob did it that quickly. And the fact that it was a student who said this was a really awesome thing for the district to do. And I was kind of surprised that he wanted to do it since he was going to military. And he was like, by having this degree, I'm going to go in at a higher pay rate, which I was like, well, that's kind of a cool thing to know because I didn't realize that. These are just some comments that students have made about this program. I think they've all found something positive. I don't think I've ever had a student say that this program wasn't something that helped them to feel more prepared when they went on to their next step. So I just like to share some of those things just so you can kind of see those there. And then the next step. So if you are really serious about this program, feel free, you can take a screenshot of this. I will also be sending out a follow-up email after we get done with our conversation this evening so that you guys have all these, so you don't have to take a screenshot by any means. I'll have all this in a follow-up email to send to you and your son or daughter. There is my email, which you guys all have my email because I sent you something earlier today. Oh, and did we mention this was free? That's always a big selling point, I think, for this program. All right, so I'm going to stop screen sharing now. And if you want to turn your cameras on so we can see you, that'd be great. If you just want to use the chat or just unmute yourself and ask questions, that is fantastic too. So what can we answer for you? So I see a question in the little chat. It takes 60 hours as an associate in arts degree. And Brett and Andy can expand on that if I misspeaking there, but I think that's correct. Okay. What else we got out there?
Oops. Sorry. Oops. Trying to turn my camera on here. So I have a question in regards to like if they're doing an extracurricular activity like band or theater where it's a semester long, do they pick the schedule like day or morning or afternoon based on what that is in their schedule?
If you have your, so if you're dependent on morning district transportation, then you would have to do this program in the morning, no matter what. If you are not dependent on district transportation, then pick whatever is going to work best for whatever else you're looking for. So like if orchestra is only in the morning or band is only in the morning, then base your schedule around that.
So it's contingent upon what band sets or theater sets as their schedule for next year.
Yeah, I think I'm understanding that, right? Yeah. I mean, if you want to be in band, oh, Stacy, you want to answer that? Because your kid was in band.
Yep. My daughter was in orchestra from 5th grade all the way through her senior year in high school. So we did face that a couple times. You know, I told her, I said, you know, when we started, I said, you may have to choose, you know, at some point you may have to choose. We never had to choose because we spoke to the orchestra teacher and we found out when the orchestra class was going to be, which it was going to be in the morning. And so we always chose her classes in the afternoon. So she was able to stay in because that was going to be a really hard choice for her to have to make, but she never had to make that. She never had to choose that because we figured out how to make it work. So yeah, it's absolutely possible.
Taylor, you have a good question on, do you have to know what you want to major in? No, you definitely don't. If you do, well, and I'll say this, and Brett can probably talk more about this than I can, but a lot of students choose this program because they want to get those general education credits out of the way, because no matter where you go, you're going to have to take psychology, you're going to have to take a math class. But then if you come in as a junior and you're working on that 2-year degree, it's a great way to explore things that you might be interested in. You know, I'm a kid who I think I want to do accounting, so I'm going to try that, or I think in computer science, or I think something health science, so I'm going to try, you know, anatomy or whatever. It gives you a lot of opportunity to explore. So I don't know, Brett, does that sound right?
Yeah, I'd agree with all that. And The one thing I will say that if you do know what pathway you're on, we can definitely customize the schedule. So we do have some choices. We will customize those choices to what you want to study and where you're going to go. So that does make it a little bit easier, but yeah, for undecided students, it's a perfect opportunity as well just to explore. So either way is perfectly fine. We'll help students in either facet there.
And when it comes to what classes, yeah, we're going to help you choose those classes. Mr. Lind is our academic advisor. He knows all the things on the side of the MCC side and the higher ed side. Like right now, you guys are probably making your schedules for next year right now. And you're like, oh, am I going to do early college or not? I don't know if I'm going to be in. So go ahead and make your full schedule at whatever your high school is. And then if you get in early college, if you're accepted into the program, and you're like, okay, this is what I was going to take at my high school. You're going to take an ELA, you're going to take a math or whatever. We will take those at the college instead. So we'll just wipe away half of your high school schedule, and then we'll try to kind of match up whatever it is you want to explore there at the college. So like if you were in an ELA class, a science and math, we'll try to get you in an ELA, a science, math, or whatever there at the high school, if that makes sense. I'm trying to read questions. So yeah, you have guidance as you're choosing classes. This program is only for juniors and seniors. When choosing between IB and ECA, I'm going to refer you to talk to your high school counselor on that, because both programs offer you a lot of different opportunities after high school. You just need to talk to your high school counselor about that, because I don't know enough about IB to be able to answer too in depth about that. So I know about this program. I know that you're going to be earning college credit each semester, and that we have great luck with the transferring of those classes. Those credits. No, you don't necessarily have to get an associate in arts. If you start as a senior, you're probably really just looking at just taking classes, those core 42 type classes that'll transfer. But you can also, depending on when you start the program and how much you bring in, like Abby, for example, got hers in engineering technology, and an associate in applied science. So you can look at those academic paths at the transfer degrees. I'm not going to speak very well to that. I'll let Brett and Andy talk more about that. But there are other paths you can be on other than just the straight associate in arts.
I just wanted to give a shout out to Mr. Lind again on choosing those pathways. If you're looking for something specific, because Abby's was very specific. And so he did a great job in helping her figure out her schedule and what she needed to take. So yeah, he was just really awesome. So he'll help you out. Great. We appreciate you.
Regarding attendance, we can talk about that. I'm assuming if you miss days due to the pandemic, those would probably be excused absences at your high school. And so we can definitely, look at things on an individual basis there. If you get all the core classes done in this program, what does A+ money go to? So your A+ money is to earn an associate's degree. If you already have your associate's degree in this program, you would not have A+ money after that. But if you don't have your complete associate's degree, you would, as long as you've qualified for A+ otherwise, you would still have that money out there, whatever is left towards your associates to apply towards that degree after high school. One thing I will say about your A+ money, remember, it does not cover your books or if there are fees, it truly is just for tuition.
Just real quick, Shannon, kind of as a what if scenario, we do have a handful of students who almost made it through the program, will graduate, but they will then graduate high school, come to MCC either in the summer or the fall, and finish out using A+. So there's some different scenarios, but she is accurate when she mentioned that once you do finish a degree, A+ is done paying.
And Brett or Andy, I'm going to let you answer this one. Is there a list of schools available who accepts the associate's degrees from MCC?
That's kind of a loaded question. I don't know if there's necessarily a list, but I will tell you that an associate's degree from MCC is very, very transferable across the board. So really, just as an example, a handful of schools out there that maybe what I would describe as more elite schools will put a ceiling on the number of credit hours you can bring to them. So like WashU, we had a student that went to WashU, was that 2 years ago maybe? And yeah. I don't care where the credits come, they could come from Harvard, they still weren't going to take him. They were maxed out at, was it 13 credit hours. So the young lady went ahead and kept taking classes with us, but it was just more for fun. So there are some exceptions to the rule, but overall the AA degree is very transferable in today's world.
When do you set your schedule? So once you are accepted into the program, the fall schedule opens up like usually what, late April, early May, guys, is that right? And we start working on your fall schedules at that time. And when you ask who guys are advising, Mr. Lind is our advisor for this. You can talk to your high school counselor about, what might be a good fit for you, like what type of credits you need to be focusing on. And then Mr. Lind can help you with those classes. But I say this every time. Mr. Lind and Mr. Miner are awesome guys, but they don't know the high school side. They are not responsible for that at all. So you will talk with me and your high school counselor when we're getting in the nitty gritty about specific credits that we need, or credit types like the SSG, social studies, government, or an ELA, or whatever it might be. They know a lot, but they don't have to know the high school world. And so they know a lot about it, but I don't try to hold them accountable for those types of things with our graduation requirements.
So just real fast, so April 11th is the magic day. That's the day enrollment opens for summer and fall classes. And Andy and I haven't officially talked, but we'd like to take our show on the road again and get to the high schools and get students enrolled probably mid to late April, I guess. Is that a fair statement, Andy?
Yes, correct.
Perfect. The ATSI application, which is our other ECA program, that's the Advanced Technical Skills Institute. The application is available on the site. I will share that in the chat box here in a second. Oh, that's an excellent question, Jackie. Yes, the students, the college professors, people at the college will not know our students, our high school students, unless a student has a reason to tell them, because it doesn't matter. And I'm not saying that in a heartless way. It's just that you can be sitting in a classroom with, traditional students, 18, 19, 20-year-olds. You might be sitting in there with a 30-year-old. The professors we're all getting the same credit. It's not like we get a little asterisk by our name because we're still in high school. And so I would say most classes, and Andy can correct me if I'm wrong, but most of them might have on the high side 6 or 7 high school kids in any one of them, where it might be a class full of 25 students. Does that sound about right, Andy?
Yeah, I don't think we've ever had a single course that's had more than 7 or 8 early college students enrolled in them, which is great. I think that's good that they're getting that kind of diversity in their in those sections of those classes.
Absolutely. Applications, I'd like everything to be in that Friday before spring break, which I think is March 11th. The one thing we have a little more flexibility on is the testing. So if we don't have ACT scores, or if we haven't taken the AccuPlacer yet, or maybe you've scored high enough on 2 sections, but you're kind of like low on 1 section and you want to retest, we can definitely do that. So we have a little flexibility, but with enrollment starting with an opening up April 11th, we really like to try to have everybody in and ready to go by mid-April, so we can start getting schedules made with the college, so everybody knows what they're doing. Your high schools, I believe, are going to be scheduling AccuPlacer testing so that you can just do it at your home high school, which is always a good thing. But you also have the opportunity to go to Maple Woods and take it at the testing center. And I'll also have that information in our email follow-up to this.
I'm looking here, Shannon. I actually talked to a couple of high schools in the last few days. We're going to be doing AccuPlacer testing at Northtown on March 9th. And tentatively at Staley the week of that same week, probably either the 7th or the 10th of March. So I haven't heard back from Oak Park or Winnetonka yet.
Okay. I'm trying to find the link for the ATSI application.
While you're looking for that, the 2 things I always like to tell parents and families of early college students is, and it kind of goes along with what Shannon was talking about a minute ago, when we embed those students in college level classes and really don't, identify them as early college unless it's needed. Saying that, a college professor also doesn't want to talk to mom and dad. And so if there's a challenge or an issue in the class, we will always start with the student first and work our way through Miss Gillen and myself and Andy and through that. So sometimes we just like to set up front so that parents realize that it is a college campus and we want to treat the student like an adult or almost an adult. And so there are some learning opportunities for both sets there. The other thing I always say is these are permanent grades. So I don't have magic whiteout that, if your first semester doesn't go well, it's a permanent record from an academic perspective for the rest of your academic life. So definitely encourage your students to take this seriously because it does matter. So just be aware of that.
Jack, yes, you asked about ACT. Our placement rule is any placement scores have to be less than 3 years old. So it depends on when he took the ACT in 7th grade. At this point, if he took the April test, we can probably use that because enrollment will probably take place in April. If he took it earlier in the year, he may have to either retake it or take the AccuPlacer.
So in addition to, so you'll fill out the MCC application, which is an online application. You'll fill out the North Kansas City application, and then you will interview with myself and probably one other person. And we talk about, and you also have to have 2 recommendations from teachers in addition to your application, and all that is available online. And so then depending, if we had 200 students that are accepted, they will, I don't know if they would let me have 200 kids in the program. I mean, it'd be an awesome problem to have, but it'd probably come down to the recommendations and essay and things like that. But if you're 100% qualified, I don't think that I've turned anybody away. And if there's kids that I've been nervous about, I'll usually have a really serious conversation with the student and the parent about my concerns and their concerns. So it's a great program. To me, I always say it's the best kept secret in North Kansas City schools. I mean, it's free college. It's real college credit. It's really figuring out how to be successful when you do leave home to go off to, Mizzou or Missouri State or, wherever, Purdue. I think that this program just offers so many things for so many different kids. Any other questions? A question that came up the last time was like, what classes can they take? You have the full catalog open to you. So if you wanted to go look at what's being offered this spring, you can see those classes. Andy, you want to pop that in the chat where the credit classes are right now? If they just wanted to kind of look at what Maple Woods is offering this spring, that would be something that parents sometimes like to look at. Any other questions? Maybe we're all still sad from yesterday's football game. Yeah, exactly, Andy. Or we're all excited about hopefully snow days this week. Maybe I shouldn't say that. I'm maybe one of the few people that really like snow. So exactly. Yeah, there's a couple out there. Well, I will send a follow-up email that has different links in it to like different things we've talked about tonight, maybe even some things that have come up in previous sessions like this, just so that we can share them with everybody. And if anything comes up, please feel free to email me directly if you want to have a one-on-one conversation. Always happy to do that with our parents. Or if you want to talk to some students who are in the program now, we can obviously do that from your high schools or talk to your high school counselors. This is a program that's been around since 2018-19 was the first year, and we had 27 students in it. Every year we've increased our number of students and our number of students who have had great success. All right, well, thank you guys very much. I don't see any other questions. Is that it? All right, thank you guys very much.